busy.
Alright, what's going on YouTube? This is BoxingWave. We're gonna talk Premier Boxing Champions today. This is new. This is Al Heyman's new brand of boxing events that's gonna be on network television. Okay, I'm sure everybody knows about it. There's a website. You can check out the website. It has all the networks that's on there, the scheduled fights. Okay, you have it on. You're having the first card coming up on March 7th with Adrian Broner, Keith Thurman, Guerrero, and John Molina. That's going to be on NBC, okay? You got a card coming up on CBS. You got a card coming up on Spike TV. There's rumors of it being on ESPN soon, taking over Friday Night Fights, BET, several more channels, okay? But the reason why I'm doing that, I wanted to give you guys my stance on all of this, okay? Now, I've done videos on Al Heyman before, and you guys kind of know my stance. If you haven't seen it, I've always been kind of neutral with him because I'm like sitting back. Like, I'm the type to sit back and wait to see what happens. I'm not going to sit here and jump on everything, just based on nothing. I'm waiting to see what happens with this Al Heyman plan. 2014 was not a good year of boxing, okay? There was a lot of fights that should have happened that involves his fighters, his stable of fighters, which he has like the biggest stable of fighters right now. There's a lot of fights that should have happened last year that did not happen, okay? You had fighters that should have been fighting each other on the same card, but they weren't fighting each other. They were fighting bums or whoever, any random fighter, okay? We got a lot of that in 2014. Those fights, a lot of those fights that should have happened, they're happening now on network television, okay? Not Showtime and HBO or pay-per-view, okay, which we're used to getting, okay? But I support this channel. I support what Al Heyman is doing. I support it because I think it's a great idea, okay? I don't know if it's going to be successful. I don't know if it's going to be a failure. I'm hoping it's successful because not only because of it's going to be good for boxing, but, he has a lot of fighters. And we want to see these fights, okay? And, he has the power to do it. If it's not him, I don't know who else is going to be. Top Rank, look at all the other top promoters. We've seen their fights, all of them. Top Rank, they fight, they put all their fighters, stable fighters, they've all been in the ring with each other, Al Heyman's just grabbing more fighters, grabbing more, and I'm hoping this is a success because boxing needs to be a primary sport again, okay? And even if it doesn't make it to that point, this is at least a good risk or a plan to get it back there because it's been at the same routine for years now. Friday night or Saturday night fights on Showtime and HBO, a week at a time or every few weeks, or sometimes we skip a whole month without seeing a fight on the network. Friday night fights on ESPN, we've been getting that, okay? That's for the diehards. NBC Network, Fox Sports 1. People watch them sometimes, but not even the hardcore fans really watch those fights. People go to the events because the tickets are cheap and it's just for something to do, but, it's not really making a sport grow. It's just something on. It's just something that's on that a lot of people don't even know of, okay? A lot of people don't know about. And I feel like this thing with Al Heyman is a big risk, but at least it's something that's not routine, okay? In order to be successful, you have to take risks. That comes with anything business related. Some people get away with being successful and really it doesn't include that much hard work. Yeah, some people out there, very few get lucky. But in order to be successful, business wise, you have to take risks. You have to. Anyone that's been successful in a business is gonna tell you that. And I hope he's successful, and I think he will be. I think this is a good way to bring something new. Okay, but I'm just waiting on the execution. I'm waiting for the delivery. I'm waiting for the outcome of this. Uh, I support it, and I'm going to support it in any way that I can. Not just my channel, but tweeting or using social media the most that I can. I'm going to support going to some of these fights. I support the sport, period. I go to as many fights as I can. I do whatever I can to support this sport, because whenever I do it, I see people paying attention. I see people tuning in because I told them to tune in. Okay? Whether it's friends, family, co-workers, strangers, boxing fans, people that don't watch boxing. When I was talking the Deontay Wilder fight, not just on YouTube, but on Twitter, I saw everybody on my timeline watching the fight. I had females on there watching the fight because I was tweeting about it. Okay, I know females that watch my channel just because they want to see me talk. It is what it is. But they'll check it out. They're tuned in. I know so many people that's tuned in to fights only because I brought it up, and I'm just one person. The YTPC, they got to do that. The journalists, they got to do that. These major websites, they got to do that. Not just talk about Floyd and Pacquiao. And that's part of the reason why the PBC thing, the Premier Boxing Champion, this is why it's happening now. And it makes sense. Because those two are on their way out. And after they leave, this is why Keith Thurman is on the first card. Okay? He's exciting. Whether you like him or not, people like him. Adrian Broner. There's a reason why he's on the first card. All right? He brings drama in and outside of the ring. There's a reason why he's on the first card. Because people watch these guys and they're going to want to tune in. They're going to want to tune in. I want to make some points. And this go for the older fighters, or the older fans. I'm sorry, the older fans. The older boxing fans. You guys got to step up and support too. All right? And I'm talking every other, I don't care. I'm not just talking YTBC. I'm talking in general. You guys can't stick on these other guys that paved the way for you. You can't stick around and talk about how it used to be, how these old fighters used to do this and that all day. Okay, because back then, people were ducking. Back then, there were poor, bad fights, all right? There was fights that weren't made back in the past. I watch documentaries. I watch YouTube. I study. I learn the past, the history. You got to support these new fighters too. That's the only way that this fight is going to keep, this boxing sport is going to get bigger or keep going. It's the only way it's going to survive. You can't sit here and just talk about how the sport is this and that, and it's not the way it was, And the new fans got to do it too. The new fans got to stop sitting here talking down on the sport. Because if you are a boxing head and you're not supporting the sport, how are the people that don't watch boxing going to support it? If you're not supporting it, This is why I sit here and make these videos, man. This is why I go to the fights. If they're local fights, I go. If I have to drive 5 hours to Verona Casino, all right, to see Ruslan Provodnikov and Matisse fight, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. If I could sit here and talk about it like, listen, I'm live. I'm going to these fights. If I go to the Barclays to see this fight, if I'm going to Vegas to see Floyd, I'm doing it to support the sport I love. I'm not doing it. I'm not going to sit here and talk bad about it every chance I get. No, that's not the way you're going to support it. This PBC thing, it sounds great. Hopefully it works. Okay? We see the schedule. The schedule looks fine. I don't know what's the problem. The schedule looks good. That's a start. It's a start. The schedule look good. Hopefully the fights are as good as the schedules. Hopefully the fights deliver, and hopefully we get some consistency, okay? Not one big fight every once in a while and throw a little 5 more fights out there, 5 little, random fights out there. Nah, hopefully we keep getting these good fights. Because now there's no excuse not to watch it. It's there. Showtime, HBO, people don't subscribe to them. You know why? Because you have all these other outlets to see your favorite shows, your favorite movies. You got websites that show all your favorite shows for free. Okay? The newest episode, it be uploaded that same night that they show the episode on television. Brand new episode. Season finale, your favorite show. It's online for you. It's on Netflix. It's on Hulu for you. It's links in Twitter. It's links on YouTube. It's everywhere. People don't subscribe to these channels. How are they going to watch boxing? Even if they subscribe to the channel, why watch boxing? Mike Tyson's not fighting no more. Roy Jones ain't fighting no more. Floyd Mayweather's not fighting tonight. Why watch the sport? This is why I was so upset about everybody talking about the Floyd Mayweather fight leading up to the Floyd Mayweather fight. And if they didn't fight, and the fight was never announced, and they never signed for the fight, then what? We put so much energy talking about these two guys that's not even going to fight each other. We put energy into Amir Khan and Miguel Cotto and how much money these guys are going to get. We spend so much time and we ignored all these other fights that's going on around the world. We got to support the sport first. Us, the diehards, and then everybody else. The diehards, the journalists, the people, these major websites, okay? I'm seeing PBC boxing getting promoted on everything. I check my phone. I see the black and gold PBC, okay? Premier Boxing Champions. I seen it on TVs on commercials. Okay, I'm seeing it online. I go to websites that have nothing to do with sports and boxing, period. And I see PBC on it. These guys are trying to make this thing happen. I support it. I hope it works. I hope they're successful. And that's all I can sit here and do, you know? Push these fights. Let's make videos. I'm going to keep making videos talking about these other fights, not just the major ones, because I want you guys to tune in. I loved it when everybody was watching Deontay Wilder and Stavern. I loved it when co-workers that I don't even talk to like that, but maybe I brought it up. I brought the fight, or they know I do boxing, and they came up to me like, yo, that fight, I saw that fight that you were talking about. I heard you talking about. I saw it the other day. Yo, that kid, Deontay Wilder, that kid is huge. I love that. I love that. Probably haven't seen a fight in 20 years. You know? My dad's another one. He's an old head that don't watch the sport. But I try to get him to push him to watch the fights, you know, because I know what fights he would like. But you got to give it a chance. But it got to be a guy like me to push these guys. It got to be the older fans, the newer fans. You know, boxing fans have been disappointed so many times that there's no hope. It's just negative all the time. It can't be like that. That's not the way the sport is going to grow. It starts with, it's the fans and the fight. I mean, it's the fighters and the promoters, and they got to put the right fights together. True. Very true. But the fans got to support it too. Fans, we get good fights, and the fans don't even support those. They be talking negative. They can say anything. They'll find anything to be negative about a fight. You watching it every week, and you still being negative towards it. You can't be like that. You can't be like that. So I support this movement. I hope it works. Okay, I hope it's a beginning, new beginnings for the sport. I hope this is the first step. I hope 2015 is growth from 2014. And I hope 2016, since it's all going to be settled in and it's going to be on all of these channels, by that time, I hope people are tuning in, more people. Okay, and hopefully we get boxing back on the main page of ESPN and not just getting Dan Rayfield articles. Maybe we get more, you know, like you guys, a lot of you guys write. A lot of you guys are watching these videos. Y'all write on little small time channels. Hopefully we can get it on majors. Hopefully we can all grow. Hopefully more jobs can be made for this. I'm not just trying to sound inspirational, but I'm being real with you. Like, that's the only way that's going to work. Like, you can't be negative towards a new, something that's not routine. Routine is not working right now in boxing. So this is something different. We got to support it. So I support it. I'm waiting to see the outcome, though. You know, I'm still neutral with Al Heyman. I'm still waiting to see it, and I'm tired of blaming Al Heyman. I'm blaming the fighters, because these fighters are sitting here saying, Al Heyman gives me whatever I want, whatever fight I want. Okay? So whose fault is it? Is it the fighter or is it Al Heyman? Because he's an advisor. He's giving you ideas. You taking one. I want to see. I would love to be a fly on the wall in a Donor Stevenson Al Heyman meeting, or Leo Santa Cruz or Al Heyman meeting. I want to see what these guys are talking about, because I'm tired of blaming Al Heyman for all the drama that's going on, all these promoters. You know, Oscar De La Hoya, I hold him on a different standard because he's a Hall of Fame fighter. He's one of the biggest cash cows in boxing history. He knows what it takes to be a great fighter, to be a warrior. I don't consider him a ducker, a cherry picker. He fought some of the best fighters out there. I don't think he won a lot of fights that they gave it to him. But you know what? I hold on a different standard, okay? He should be making these fights happen. He should be pushing his fighters to make the good fights happen. But I understand he's a promoter. He's trying to make money. You know, but on the flip side, I don't hold him on the same standard as the other promoters because he's actually been in there. He has experience. He knows what it is to be the best. Okay? But everybody else, Bob Arum, Al Heyman, all these other promoters, different. It's different. All right? So, I wasn't really trying to make this video long, but, you know, I just got to get it out there. Like, we need to support anything, like not anything, you know, not anything, because, you know, there's some fights you're not going to like, you're not going to support it. You know, Danny Garcia, Lamar Peterson, I'm not going to the fight. And I'm going to tell you why I'm not going. They're not fighting for a title, you know. It's like they just fighting because there's, you know, people want it, but you're not fighting for a title. It's not, your will to win is not, I mean, Danny doesn't want to have a loss on his record, but Lamont Peterson has a loss on his record, and he's not defending his title. So you meaning to tell me no matter what happens in this fight, you're still going to hold on to your title? I'm not going to go support that fight. You know, I'm going to watch it, but I'm not going to the event. I would have paid my money to go to see that fight because it's in New York. It's at the Barclays. So you guys know I go to these fights. I'm not supporting that, you know, because there's no risk involved in that fight. Except a loss, but it's no major risk. You're still holding on to your title, and that's valuable. So my money is not valuable enough because you're not putting nothing on the line. That I'm not gonna put my money up for the fight. But all these other fights that's happening, you know, I'm gonna go to Vegas. I'm gonna try to see Klitschko and Jennings. Okay, that's in Madison Square Garden, and then I'm gonna go to the Lucas Matisse fight, and I'll be going to little small fights too. You know, I'll be going to those on the side too. All right, but anyway, I just had to get that off my chest. I want everybody to start supporting these new movements and stop being so negative towards everything, and that's including the old school boxing fans too. All right, let me make that clear. Stop talking about the past. We could discuss the past. No disrespect for the old. I respect the older fighters that paved the way. But you got to support the new guys too. The guys that's the future of the sport. You got to support them. You don't support them, then you're just going to be mad, even more mad. You get what I'm saying? So leave comments, you know, and make sure you guys hit subscribe.